a short practice. Starting out, we'll lie on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Walk those feet wide like your mat. Let your knees fall toward each other into an active rest pose here. Those legs propping themselves up so you use less energy to keep them where they're at. Allow your eyes to come closed. Observe your breath. Don't change anything about it. Just noticing if your inhales and exhales are deep and full, or if they are more shallow today. Take your right hand and place it in the center of your chest. Your left hand placed in the center of your abdomen. Work your way toward breaths that are more full and deep. Big inhales and full exhales. Your hands rise and fall with the movement of your abdomen and chest with each inhale and each exhale. Gently move your hands off of your chest and abdomen. Allow your breath to come back to whatever is normal and natural for it right now. Walk those feet toward each other, more narrow here. Take a moment to sway those knees a bit here, side to side, checking in with the hips with some small and soft movement here, moving relatively slow. Those knees can come back to point at the ceiling, feet flat on the floor here. Take your hands, palms together, interlace your fingers, and press those palms up toward the ceiling. Your elbows here can stay slightly bent if that's most comfortable for you. And we can take the arms overhead, stopping at any point that feels like it is a lot of tension or any discomfort. Breathe into that place and choose to either back off, stay where you're at, or if it is comfortable, continue on. On your next inhale, take those arms back toward the ceiling, palms facing up. Palms come together and down towards your chest. From here, take your arms out into a T shape with palms down, palms up, or into cactus arms, whichever feels the most comfortable in your shoulders. Coming into a twist, we'll drop the knees off to the left, your gaze up at the ceiling or over towards your right hand or elbow. With your next inhale, take your gaze and your knees to point back up at the ceiling. Take a breath or two here. Give the spine time to even out a bit. And as you're ready, dropping the knees to the right. Your gaze is up at the ceiling or over towards your left hand or elbow. With your next inhale, take those knees back toward the ceiling. Hips and feet supported by the floor. Here, take those knees in towards your chest for a moment. You can hold on with your hands. Knees can be wide, like the armpits are close together, like your belly button. Maybe even rocking a little bit side to side if that feels comfortable on your low back or hips. Find your way upright. You can take a moment here in either a cross-legged position or with legs straight out in front of you. Find some length in your spine sitting tall, always knowing you can sit on the edge of a blanket if sitting upright on the floor is not the most comfortable for you, adding as much blanket as you need underneath your hips. Take your right hand to the floor next to you here and bring your left arm up and over, coming into a little bit of a side opener here. That right hand can slide away as far as it needs to accommodate your side opening. Inhale, working your way back up. Left hand plants, right arm up and over. And inhale, coming back upright. From here, move your way to a tabletop position on your hands and knees. Here in tabletop, we'll work through cat, cow, and child's pose. Inhale. Start out coming into cow pose, arch that spine, lift hips, lift chest. Exhale, round into cat as you move your way back into child's pose. So sitting back towards your heels, stretching those arms out. Inhale back up, finding cow. Exhale, round into cat as you move into child's pose. Inhale up, one more time into cow. Exhale, rounding into cat, finding your way through cat to child's pose. Inhale back up into tabletop. From tabletop up to kneeling. If your knees tend to feel a little tender, put a blanket or something soft like a sweatshirt underneath your knees so you have a little extra cushion there. Finding length from the contact point of your knees on the ground all the way up to the crown of the head. Inhale and take your arms up overhead. Exhale, bend those elbows, coming into kind of a cactus arm here. Now draw your elbows back. We're lifting the chest and slightly tucking the chin into an upper back bend here. This is a nice active back bend. Definitely have to engage your muscles to hold this pose. Draw that chest back in, take those arms back up. And exhale. Hands come back down into tabletop. From here, finding your way to a downward facing dog, hands plant at the top of the mat, actively engaging those hands in the mat. We can lift the hips. Heels may or may not end up on the ground. Either way is just fine. If you have a lot of tightness in your lower body, bending the knees more can help accommodate that. Find your breath here. Coming into child's pose is always an option, especially if your arms or wrists are feeling fatigued. And walk your hands towards your feet or your feet up to your hands into a half standing forward fold. So lengthen that spine. Nose points down toward the floor. And exhale, sink down into standing forward fold. Again, knees can be bent here to accommodate tightness in the back of the body. If you want to make a little more room for your torso here in your fold, you can walk those feet out wide like your mat, making this more of a comfortable forward fold than it might otherwise be. Inhale, come halfway up, plant those hands on the front of your legs. Take your gaze forward this time. And on your next inhale, all the way up to standing, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. So drop those arms. Here, turn toward the long edge of your mat. If you do have something nearby, it could be a stack of books, a block, a can of soup, whatever can give you a little bit of height and support. Just have that nearby in case you'd like to use it here. Feet are out nice and wide, wider than the hips here. We're coming into a wide leg standing forward fold. So with length in your body, we're thinking about hinging at the hips, kind of leading forward with your belly button and chest at the same time. So take a deep inhale. Exhale, find that forward fold. Hands can come down to the floor. If you do have, like I said, a stack of books, a block, a big can, something that is helpful here, you can put your hands on that. Give those knees a little bend. It's easy to find a lot of tension in your knees here. So actively try to mitigate that tension. Now inhale, come halfway up, so lifting that chest, that torso. Now planting your left hand either on your prop or on the floor. We'll take the right arm up toward the ceiling into a twist. Your gaze can be wherever it is the most comfortable for both your balance and your neck. And inhale, untwist. We're planting your right hand right where your left hand was. When you are ready, left hand comes up toward the ceiling into your twist. Another option here could be taking your hand to your hip. Still opening that chest up toward the short end of the mat. And inhale, untwist, left hand comes back down. Check in with those knees. Maybe we need to give those a little bit of a bend here. Sink for a moment into your standing forward fold. Now finding our way up slowly from here, walk those hands to the front of your legs. Take your gaze forward as you come halfway up. Hands on a couch or a chair are a great option here. On your next inhale, all the way back up to standing. Turn and step your left foot to meet your right, back up at the top of the mat. Once both feet are at the top of the mat here, we can set any props aside. Bring your weight into your left foot. Knee is a little soft. Working on a tree pose. Toes of the right foot touch the floor. Heel touches the inside of the leg. Standing nice and tall. Having the back of a sturdy chair nearby or the edge of a bed is a great way, or even a wall here, is a great way to have a little support in these balance poses. You can walk that foot up the inside of the leg if you like, if you have the balance for it in this moment. And if you find you don't, those toes can come back to the ground at any time. Take a deep inhale. With your exhale, take that foot back down to the ground. If you need any movement in those knees, hips, ankles, and feet, find that movement. And then place your weight into your right foot, keeping that softer right knee. Toes touch the floor. Knee opens off to the short end of the mat, finding length in your body here. You can choose to walk that foot up. You can always choose to bring it back down. Finding a place that feels like a confident tree pose for you today. And that might be with both feet touching the ground and your hands on something stable. Take a deep inhale. With your exhale, that foot comes back down to the floor, again offering any movement in the ankles, knees, and feet here. From here, find your way down to the mat, coming to seated and then lying on your back. Hands here can start out resting on your abdomen or on the floor. Coming into a reclined pigeon pose, taking the right ankle, bringing it over the left knee. You can walk that foot as far away or as close to your seat as is comfortable. If you want to increase the amount of stretch that you're feeling in this pose, you could step your left foot up onto a prop like a floor or a wall or a sturdy couch or bed. Or you can wrap your arms around the legs and draw them in towards your torso. A sweatshirt works really well here too to wrap around those legs, just making your arms a little longer if they need to be. And take that left foot back down, uncross. As you're ready, left ankle over right knee, right foot can stay on the floor, can step onto a solid prop, or we can use arms, a strap, or a sweatshirt to help draw those legs in towards your torso. And exhale, foot comes back down. Both feet back down. Find your way up to seated. And sit in a way that is comfortable for you, legs out straight or crossed. Let the eyes come closed, the chin tucks toward the chest just slightly. Take 3 full, deep breaths here. And if you like, you can take your hands together at your heart and bow forward to seal in your practice tonight. Thank you all for joining me. We'll see you next time.